Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm not sure when you're watching this, but I'm Jaye Simpson, and since we probably won't get to meet in person this semester, I wanted to take a few minutes to introduce myself to you so you could put a face to the voice that you'll be hearing all semester and walk you through our Blackboard course so that you know how to navigate and find all the really important information that you're going to need this semester. So I'm going to switch over to our Blackboard course here. So first of all, don't be alarmed if the colors change. I like to change the colors randomly throughout the semester as the mood strikes me. But when you log on, it should look something like this. So I just want to walk you through a few key pieces that you should be familiar with. First of all, you'll notice there's a link to the ICR, or the syllabus. Instructor's Course Requirements is what we call it here at TCC, but everybody else in the world calls this a syllabus. I'm doing a separate video that goes over some of the key points of the syllabus, so you'll look for that and watch that one as well. You'll notice I have a link here to my office hours. So this semester, fall 2020, we're going to be holding office hours through Microsoft Teams. I've got office hours every day from 10 to 12:30. This is the link to join the Teams meeting. Teams is kind of an online program similar to Zoom or something like that. So every Monday through Thursday, I'll be online from 10 to 12:30. You can just hop on there. Now, of course, that is not the only way and the only time that you can contact me. If you are not available during those hours, well, then by all means, please email me. If we need to meet to go over some problems or some information, then we can always set up a one-on-one Zoom or Teams call at a time that is more convenient to you. So this is just when I had planned out, but of course you're welcome to meet with me any other time as well. I have a statement of class policies here. This is also repeated in the ICR, but I really want to make sure that we all remain respectful of everyone in this classroom, whether you are speaking in person, whether you are speaking over direct message or discussion board or email. I expect you to be respectful of everyone all times. Now, announcements. I'm going to send out a lot of announcements this semester. Your announcements will also all go to your MyTCC email, so make sure that you are checking that email regularly. If you don't want to check that email, then forward it to an email that you do check a lot. But announcements are important. Usually when I send out a new announcement, it'll also show up on the homepage, but really important, you'll want to check those out. That's the main way that I will communicate with you this semester. The orientation quiz is a quiz that you'll want to take after you watch all of these orientation videos that I've posted here. It kind of just goes over some of the big parts to make sure that you understand exactly what is expected of you. You'll notice there is a schedule of due dates. This is also posted in the Blackboard course. I won't open it right here. Well, let's go ahead and open it. It's also posted in ICR, but I've got it posted here as well. You may want to print this out, put it in the front of your handy dandy notebook so that you have all of the due dates in front of you. Notice that all assignments are due on Monday. They're all due on a Monday at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. So really important. I specifically scheduled them to be due on Mondays, so that gives me Monday to respond to your questions. I do check my email and check in over the weekend, but certainly not as often as I do during the week. So if you email me kind of late Sunday afternoon, I may not get your message until Monday when I respond. You'll notice that we have a lot to cover this semester. There's a lot of chapters that we have to cover. In fact, we cover 14. Well, we skipped chapter 10. So really we cover 13 chapters, and that's a lot. I talk about this a little bit more in the ICR video, but it's super important that you stay caught up. And the worst thing you can do in this class is get behind, because we cover so much information that it's just, if you get behind, it's almost impossible to get caught up. You'll notice that a couple of weeks, just because, hey, we cover 13 chapters in a 16-week semester, and one of those weeks is finals week, so really we cover 13 chapters in 15 weeks, that there's a couple of weeks that you have multiple things due on Monday. So go ahead and mark in your calendar and plan out now when everything is due. Let's switch back over here to Blackboard. Lessons is really important. So when we open lessons, you'll notice that there's a folder for every single chapter that we're going to cover. And inside each one of these folders, first of all, there's the learning objectives. So this is what we're going to cover this chapter. Then I remind you to read chapter 1. It's super important that you read the textbook. I'm going to go over that more in the My Accounting Lab video that I do, but let me just stress again that you really do have to read the textbook in this course. So for each chapter, I give you a note-taking handout. This is a handout that I've prepared that goes right along with my notes. It has fill-in-the-blank spots in it. So the idea is that you would print these, and then as you go through the videos, which I'll show you on the next slide, you would fill in the notes as we go through, just like if you were sitting in class and you would fill in the notes. There's a couple of reasons that I give you this note-taking handout. One is cognitive research, which is research about how people learn, tell us that when we handwrite something, we're going to retain about 80% more of it than if we just read it, hear it, or see it. So this class is hard. Accounting is hard. I'm sure you've probably heard that before. And I want to try to make it as easy as possible for you while still giving you all of the information and making sure that you learn all of the information. So one of the ways that I try to make it easier for you is to teach you tips to try to help you work smarter, not harder. And one of those smarter tips is to handwrite your notes. Again, you're going to retain so much more information if you will handwrite those. Also, as we get to where we're working problems, and we will work a lot of problems in this class, I've built the problem out in your notes, and then you can left space for you to work it out. So as you're going through the videos, what I tell you in the videos and what I would encourage you to do is, number one, pause the video when you get to those problems, try to work them out on your own, and then restart the video and check yourself, listen to the explanation. If you got it wrong, correct it and figure out why. Also, by handwriting the notes, this really helps you engage with the content. So let's face it, it's really hard to sit and listen to a video of someone else talk to you, especially about something that you're probably not very interested in. I've been talking at this point for 7 minutes and 40 seconds, and you've probably already started to tune me out. So by handwriting the notes, that really helps keep you engaged in the content. And that's how you're going to retain this information, is by really engaging. The more of your senses that you can engage, the more likely you are to retain this information. The more the synapses and the fingers are going to grow in your brain. And if that sounds really weird, I promise I explained that in the My Accounting Lab video. So one of the ways you can do this is by writing the notes out. Now, if you don't have access to a printer, you have all of the handouts for all chapters already here in Blackboard. I would encourage you to download all of those, save them to your computer, and send them off to Staples or Office Depot or Kinko's or somewhere like that and have them printed. A lot of times students like to do that. They like to get a 3-ring binder, a little notebook, put all their notes in there, punch holes in them, put their notes in there, put their homework in there as well. You're going to want to handwrite, even though you're doing your homework online, you're going to want to handwrite the problems out and then enter the homework online and check your answer. So having all of that in your little binder together will make your life easier. So again, I really encourage you to have those notes. Now, let me say one thing, because a lot of times I hear students say, oh, well, I'm just going to type the notes. It's fine, I'll open them, but I'll type them. And that is an option. Certainly, all of this is optional. Research has shown that for most of us, now if you're dysgraphic, this won't apply to you, or have some other learning challenges, but for most of us, if we handwrite something, we're going to retain about 50% more of it than if we type it. Okay, so again, I want you to work smarter, not harder. So handwriting it for most of us means 50% more of that you've learned and you don't have to study for later, or you have to study less for later. And if you think about it, that probably makes sense. So how many of us, now this is very bad, please understand, I'm saying this is very bad, don't do this, but how many of us have texted while we were driving? Probably most of us have. Now that's very bad. Don't do that. I'm not encouraging that. Please do not text while you drive. But most of us have probably at least tried it, right? We've texted while we were driving, even though we knew it was the wrong thing to do. Now, how many of us have been able, would you be able to hand write that same note while you were driving? Probably couldn't do it, right? It requires more of your brain, different parts of your brain. I confess I'm not a neuroscientist, I just read the research, but handwriting it really does use more. It's like it's almost engraving it on your brain, so super important. So you're going to print out these handouts to go through the notes with, and then here you have a link to my YouTube channel that has all of these videos on it. I've tried to break them down into shorter chunks, kind of by objectives, so none of them are too terribly long. They're kind of shorter chunks, so that you would go through the videos with the notes, fill in the notes, really engage. Again, as I ask questions in the videos and the recordings, I expect you to answer back just like you were sitting in class with me. I'm trying to replicate that classroom environment as much as possible. Then once you finish the notes, finish all the videos, you'll want to go work in the homework assignment in my accounting lab, which I'll show you in another video, and then take some time to go through the study plan. So that's all under Lessons tab. Now you'll also notice I have a discussion board tab. So the discussion board tab is for any time you're going through the video, and if you imagine yourself that you were sitting in a classroom and I was talking to you face to face, if this is the time that you would want to raise your hand and say, hey, I have a question, then go post that to the discussion board. So post your questions to the discussion board. If you're working through the homework and you get stuck and you're unsure how to answer the question, post it to the discussion board. I want this discussion board to, again, sort of mimic that discussion that we would have in class. Obviously, it's not in real time, but I can answer your questions. I check the discussion boards every day, and I can answer it not just for you, but for all of your classmates. Also, your classmates can jump in and answer as well. Now, I do have the first forum up here is introduce yourself. I would ask that everyone go through, put a little blurb in here, tell us your name, maybe what's your major, what are your plans, are you going to transfer to a university, are you going to are you taking this class to get a promotion at your job, whatever. And then, what's your dream job, just kind of any information that you feel comfortable sharing with us. But again, I want us to try to get to know each other. I want to find out more about you and get to have this engagement in class as well. So when you do register for My Accounting Lab, and I, again, will do a separate video for that, this is the link that you're going to use to access My Accounting Lab, always, always, always. And these are the link to the registration instructions. If you have any problems with My Accounting Lab at any point during the semester, you need to contact tech support. So that's what this link is to here. Now, we do have a phone number for tech support, or there's a link to their web page where you can email them or chat with them. I will tell you, if you have any problem with My Accounting Lab at any point in time, you do have to contact tech support. I unfortunately cannot fix My Accounting Lab for you. When you contact them, they will give you an incident number. You want to write that number down. If for some reason they don't fix your problem, either you just got unlucky and you got someone on the help desk who's not terribly helpful, I mean, it happens, let's be honest, or there's something that needs to be followed up with on my end, I need that incident number from you. So make sure that you write that incident number down. Now, this link to Pearson Diagnostics you will probably never use. If you do have to contact tech support, they might tell you to run a diagnostics report, and that is what this link is here for. But you will only use that link if tech support walks you through how to do it. Now, your grades will show up right here under the My Grades tab. Your grades in My Accounting Lab will automatically transfer over to our official Blackboard gradebook. This gradebook here within Blackboard My TCC is the official and the only official gradebook. So while you will see your grades in My Accounting Lab, though that is not the official gradebook, don't look at that overall grades report. That is not weighted. It's not the official grade book. This one in My Accounting Lab is the official grade book. So again, your grades will come over automatically from My Accounting Lab. They will not come over instantaneously. It takes at least 6 hours, most of the time, can take up to 48 hours for your grades to come over. That is not a My Accounting Lab setting, that is a TCC setting. TCC doesn't want those two syncing automatically or instantly because it uses a lot of bandwidth. So when you get in there and you do your first homework assignment and you make 100 and you come back and you look at the grade book and it's a 0, do not freak out. You don't need to email me and tell me, oh my gosh, my grades didn't come over. They will. Eventually. It can take a while. If there's something going on in the district and they're working on the network, the first thing they do is turn off the sync, which is why I say it can sometimes take up to 48 hours, a couple of days for those grades to come over. Every Tuesday morning, so after assignments are due on Monday, every Tuesday morning I will do a grade refresh from my side, and that will pull over all the grades. If at that point, so by Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday, you don't see your correct grade here in the Blackboard gradebook, that's when you want to email me and say, I don't think my grade came over correctly. I've only had it happen once that a student's account kind of got corrupted and their grades weren't coming over correctly, and we got that fixed. But again, just give it some time. The other thing I want to tell you about is, again, they are set to sync on a set schedule. So sometimes you'll be over working on your homework, you get 100 on it, but when you look at the grade book, it says you have a 40. Well, that's because when they pulled the grades, you were 40% through with your homework, and so it pulled over a 40. The next time that it syncs, it will pull over the 100 that you made. So don't worry, I promise all your grades will get brought over. Now down at the bottom, I just have some other information. Here's some general information about advising and scholarships, about course evaluation, about the eliminating barriers, scholarship, or it's not really a scholarship, but funds that are available if you need those. So again, I look forward to meeting you at least virtually this semester. I realize, again, we won't get to meet in person, and that's very sad, but I am looking forward to working with you this semester and teaching you, and I hope that you learn a lot and you really enjoy this class.